especially of Soup City sins. Nothing annoys them so much. When we last left our coterie, several things happened at once as they usually do, but most pressingly, the matter of other avenging angels existing within the city, seeking to protect when they could, to avenge when they couldn't, came home to roost at our coterie's haven. One of the many things that we've discussed about what makes Chicago Chicago is that very real sentiment at the end of the day when all discussions were had, when debates were settled. It usually boils down to, but can you kick my ass though? And the Coterie proved in no uncertain terms and with no doubt that when push came to shove and shove came to pain needing to be felt, that they would be the ones doing the kicking in this particular case. And we talked about how different Chicago is to other cities and how a very real coldness and a predatory nature falls into place in one's very bones. But Chicago, as different as it is to all the other cities of the world, is very much like all the other cities of the world. There is a cost of living that comes due and that must be paid. In this case, the cost of previous actions has come home to roost, has come due. There's a cost that must be paid for actions carried out previously. And while seeking the most peaceful turn of events, the most peaceful options going forward, the Coterie prepares itself to meet with Juanica on neutral ground to hash out some details. Because for all of his bluster, the very real threat of what has happened and what has transpired could be used against the Coterie by those with larger stakes. So, beginning in, we'll go in reverse alphabetical order. As Juanica and his people leave, and a small conversation takes place between Hestia and Alexander, what are you doing to prepare to head to Oasis to meet Juanica, Hestia?
My usual prep. I'm gonna visit my lab real quick, grab some things from there, so I'm not caught flat-footed. Just like because I'm pretty low on willpower. We already discussed that because I had to burn one recently. Um, I don't know, just kind of mentally prepare, get myself together. Um, decide what I'm willing to give and what I'm not willing to give, what I'm willing to have happen and what I'm not willing to have happen. So I go in with a very clear head and a game plan because we always seem to have stuff get messed up when we don't have at least some form of game plan.
Okay. Dizzy?
Well, Dizzy, for the most part, is not even sure what the hell was going on. So she's going to, I guess, get a fresh stick of gum and rock back and forth on her heels until we're ready to go.
Okay. Clyde, in the last few days, several things have made themselves more apparent. For all of Newberry's inherent insanity, as far as the other clans are concerned, as well as people believe, there is a very real thread of care. In the last 2 days, you and he have spent time off and on in his private residences downtown. It's a little out of the way condo that most people don't know he owns. This has given you the opportunity to visit with Liz and her husband and the action team to make sure that they are, in fact, safe. The biggest question for Liz, of course, is what happened to all of her equipment? Why is everything missing? How are they robbed and no one knows what's happening?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna spin out something like they were drugged, and then somebody went into the flat and take all the the equipment. I mean, it's very complicated for a couple of $1,000, but still a couple of $1,000.
She puts both hands on her hips, a soft frown resting on her brow as you tell her and relate to her that they were drugged and were robbed without that knowledge. She nods, licks her lips once or twice.
I say, I mean, it's either that or the Men in Black. Have you been doing some alien research lately?
Clyde, darling, you know I love you, but you have a tell when you lie. It involves your lips moving faster than they normally do. And then there is also the fact of this. And she raises her wrist, showing the tattoo that still is a little more fresh than it should be, but it was done quickly and not with a gun, nor was it treated as most other tattoos are.
Definitely Man in Black. I'm gonna do finger guns.
Clyde, you scare me sometimes. And she hugs you as you prepare to leave again to go meet with Newberry. Now, in meeting with Newberry, again, his apparent care, like he really does want you to unburden yourself. He really wants you to not allow the drama and trauma of the last few days and last few weeks to settle in, take up a space, to rent, a condo in your head without paying rent. Those things happen. They happen. The bodies were, the death wasn't something that you caused. The danger wasn't something that you caused. There are forces in the world. The trick is to not take them in and keep them there.
Well, I'm a fairly level guy. Somebody comes after me, well, I get out of the way. If somebody comes after my people, well, then they have to go through me. So it's more about the lying and manipulating and all the things that I have to do to people I care.
Now, Clyde, my good man, this may seem a little out of sorts, but in such cases as this, we know that the world is cruel. Life hurts. And it comes down to who you're willing to hurt for. And knowing that you are willing to hurt for them doesn't mean that you have to. Take that pain and leave it be. Because did you personally cause this harm to them? Did you involve them in Kindred politics? Because that's what it boils down to. Everything is political. If it wasn't you by your hand and by your action, then these sins are not yours to carry.
Yeah, as I said, I point to my head, and sometimes you forget, and sometimes people keep reminding you.
As if on cue, the Franciscan monk which came and moved into your head, you're not sure how long ago, begins chanting in Latin. It's not chanting so much as that's just how he speaks. And if you understood Latin, you'd more easily be able to tolerate him. But by the simple fact that he's speaking Latin in a conversational tone with a voice that carries, that was meant to broadcast across large distances, it wouldn't be so bad. But the fact that he refuses to stop and he seems to be giving you a sermon of some sort, you recognize, Ray, the son, or ruler, or king, or some such, but you don't get the entirety of what he's saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, you know, at some point, everybody pays dues. I think I earned mine. It's just I when my turn comes, I will like to have the luxury of forgiveness.
Perhaps
With
just
that, I can be at peace.
perhaps instead of starting with your humans that you care so much for, maybe start with your associations with the other members of the night, of the other kindred, the other damned. Maybe getting their understanding of your actions, or at least having them have an idea as to your actions and why your pet peeves, your likes, your dislikes, your favorite books might help in helping you unburden more often. I unfortunately have received information as to a security breach on one of my other properties. So I'll leave you to your evening, Clyde. But if you need something, when you need something, I'm here to help.
Yeah, I sure reach out.
All right, sounds like a plan. And as you bid adieu to both Newberry and Liz and the crew, thoughts of how to afford the cameras and the tripods and the pads and just the cost of getting them back up and running to the level that they want to be, goes through your head as you hop on your bike and head toward the Coterie Haven.
Oh,
Maybe
I have a plan for
okay,
that.
sounds like a plan. And while you make your way across town, avoiding as much traffic as possible, Alexander, that was not the most comfortable of situations to be in. It was clear that they had come with all due intentions of collecting attacks, collecting the real cost of harm befalling what they consider their empire. Now, Mike was a face you've seen around quite often, actually, in the last couple of days. It was one of Simone's more um, reliable members there in the Haven who would keep watch and trade stories or whatever they were talking about. But it was clear to you, it seemed more like a debriefing, something straight to the point, filling out the information that most parties might not have been aware of. And then the beard stands out because 5 years ago, when you awoke in that alley after nearly being killed, there was a person hovering over you that helped you to Naomi. That person was MSG Green, Mike Green. So, what are you doing to prepare to go meet Juanica?
So the mic was just here. Is the mic the same mic that saved me?
Yes.
Oh shoot, I was not tracking that. Whoops.
People change, Kindred don't.
Yeah. Because that reset button I hit every time. I'm not sure what I can do to prepare to go to Juanica. Yes?
Okay. There is also the fact that you went on a trip without any luggage. That has never happened to you before. You've often seen Hestia get transfixed on her space in the middle distance and her eyes not quite seeming to take in the light that's happening around her, but that's never happened to you.
No, I was in another world. I didn't know it was there. It was like being on hashish, but worse.
Yeah, Hashish definitely gives you more of a body high, not so much a mental one. It doesn't take your mind completely away, but it makes it very easy and palatable for you to exist in this world. Whatever that was took you to more than just to the back and beyond. It took you to the other side of that back. And the things that you saw, the spaces that you saw, didn't see all that much, but it sits with you. Like seeing lupines from a more human viewpoint. That insanity, that fear that gripped your heart, that made you question. And the names they used, Chasha, and Orsipulas, and who was that woman holding a knife? Why was it even remotely important? And so you absent-mindedly are just kind of resting and lost in thought, and there's a stain on the wall. You get closer to it, and you think that it's a stain. Do you inspect it?
Yes. Dude, that's weird.
There's layers of paint. It's like a crack that's happened in the paint. It's a different pattern beneath it. Do you pick at it?
Yeah, I want to see a little bit of this. Not too much. I don't want to make much of a noticeable change.
Taking a quick look around, making sure that you're mostly alone, or at least that no one's going to rat you out. You just with the fingernail, just with your index finger, you work at the paint a little bit. That crack that's showing a little bit more than a dime-sized patch. You pick at it till it's almost a quarter-sized patch, and your unbeating heart skips a beat because that pattern that's on that wall is the same pattern that was in that kitchen. That pattern that's beneath this paint, and you're talking 5 or 6 layers of paint cracked through, is there on the wall beneath the paint.
But essentially guarantee I was in the place I am, but I wasn't here now.
Yeah.
So I was here, but just then.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's what Hestia sees when she stares into the middle space, or why Aiden was so interesting. The mysteries of the world around you.
Yeah. Definitely gonna try to meditate on this later. That I definitely want to try to memorize the features of her face and remember that vision. See if because what tends to happen with these things is if she's important, I'll probably see her. Maybe not, but when it comes to all this weird fate stuff and visions, why not?
Well, it's nice having someone who's a veritable expert on it near at hand. You can give her a quick interrogation and have her answer a few questions as soon as you have the opportunity. Needless to say, once everyone has taken a few moments to themselves and gathered themselves, Hestia, Dizzy, Alex, you guys are back in the office preparing to take the quick drive or the quick walk over to Oasis. It's literally at the corner of Morris and Sheridan, so you can walk it in about 10 minutes. 12 of you walk leisurely, but walking might not give you the opportunity to scope the place out. Last time, Hestia, you were at Oasis, it was with Portia, it was with Lucio and Simone, and those conversations still haunt you, partially because you don't have recollection of whatever those conversations actually 100% were. So, Hestia, as the resident older Kindred, how are you deciding that you guys are going to get to Oasis to meet with Wanika? I think you're still muted.
Sorry about that. I kind of hate to waste the gas, but no, it's probably best to walk because then I also want to see if I can figure out how that thing happened when we're heading to the asylum. Because I've got some, but like, I got to figure out who's watching us. That can't keep happening. So we're gonna walk, but I'm gonna keep my head on a swivel this time.
Okay. So you're gathering everyone together, or you're gonna let Dizzy hang out at the Haven, or Alex hang out at the Haven, or you gathering everybody together to mount up and take that quick walk?
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it up to them pretty much. I don't want to force anybody to go. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to throw in their lot with us. I mean, they pretty much have already, but I still don't want it to be like you're coming with us because this, you know, that's not me. So I pretty much just put it to each of them as, so we got to go have this chat. It may or may affect some things in the future. If you guys want to come along and put your input in, I'm good with that. If not, then maybe it's been too much and you can just hang out here. You guys have my number if you need to call me for anything. Speaking of which, also, I would have gotten one of my throwaway phones. It's just like, it's not like a low end smartphone, but it's still a smartphone. Nothing's attached to it right now. It's pretty much still in the package. It's like a Go phone or something like that. And I keep them for emergencies. I would toss that to Dizzy.
Yay!
All right. So while you're getting her to jot down your number in the unupdated smartphone, is there anything else you guys would like to try to settle before you walk out the door?
Well, the main thing I want to settle, the person's not here for.
I don't think too much about technology, but I just realized I don't think Alex has either Simone's or Hestia's number.
Nope. You have Simone's, but you don't have Hestia's.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try to get that.
Speaking of not being present, as you all are gathering your things and girding your loins for the walk over, Dizzy, are you walking over with them?
Yeah, I'll go. What else am I gonna do?
Download Minesweeper?
I mean, I can do that while I walk.
All right. So as you guys are girding your loins, preparing to make the walk over to Oasis, Clyde, you come in to a skidding stop as per your usual when dismounting your bike. Partially because the brakes are a little worn, partially because it's a good way to make sure that no one's following you. Because replicating your stop on the bike is almost impossible. And it makes sure that anyone who's in your shadow has to adapt far quicker than they normally would, which gives you an opportunity to see if anybody's back there. And as per usual, no one's back there except for the ghost that will follow in your wake. And the cop car is sitting on the corner.
Is this the usual doctor?
No, they've actually switched out. It's not one of the newer ones. It's one of the unmarked, older, bubble-styled Crown Vics, which they don't use anymore. Which means clearly whoever's behind the wheel of that car has done something wrong to their sergeant to get one of the old beaters.
All right. I pick up a new trick along the way, which is level 1 obfuscate, which doesn't do me anything right now. Just letting you know.
Okay.
Well, I'm guessing I'm going in the to the Haven.
All right, so you hop off your bike and see them over there and pat your pockets, make sure that everything is in place. Take off the helmet and you're heading toward the door, and out walks Hestia. Alexander and Dizzy, would you be so kind as to go ahead and describe yourself to our Clyde? Diz?
Did you get any of that? Probably not.
Nope. Our signal dropped.
All right, so she's about average height. She's got super long, sort of bleached platinum hair, gray eyes. She's real thin. She's dressed like in black clothing, wearing a hoodie, probably like a Fallout Boy T-shirt or something.
Okay.
Okay. Clyde is 5'10" or thereabouts, middle 30s, if I remember correctly. Little bit of a scruffy fellow. Have his portrait somewhere, and I'm gonna find it present.
Has Clyde's been busy for the last couple of days, almost as many days as Lucio, but here he is. Like Johnny on the spot, he has come to a skidding stop just ahead of you. Where is there any conversation that needs to take place that you're having with him?
Oh, there's definitely a frown on her face. She is not happy. Mr. Clyde, well, nice of you to join us. I'm sure you probably had things that you needed to get done, but I don't know where you were, but if you are noticing, we have an extra person with us. We had 2 extra people and 1 ran away for some freaking reason. But this person we found in the basement of a certain place that me and you met. And it's run by somebody you know very, very well.
It's so sweet she thinks I'm a person.
Out of character, is this the we were out in the somewhere near a power plant or something like that? Just trying to remember.
Oh, when you first met?
Clyde and Hestia met at the asylum.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And who's the person I know?
You called him for help when all that stuff happened. Here at the shelter, you called this person for help. And you know what? I don't know for an absolute fact that he's the reason behind these things, but I found Dizzy and others in the basement of that place locked up. We freed her, and I couldn't free them all. And it's his fault. I know
Newberry, you mean?
Yes, Newberry.
Oh, well. He's doing alright by me at least, but I'm sure, so perhaps I can talk with him.
You can't tell him we have her. They're already looking for her. Shouldn't have her in the first place.
No, I mean, perhaps I can talk with her to know what she remembers, so why was she there?
I'm like right here, guys.
Well, that's why I stepped back. I let Dizzy, if you want to tell him how you got to where you were real quick as we walk, then I'm fine with that. But yeah, I'm not happy.
So yeah, basically, you know how like most memories have a start and a beginning, and then there's like some stuff in the middle, and then it goes to the end. Mine's a big giant fucking hole.
So are you of the blood?
I'm not hip to the Chicago lingo, maybe.
I'm shooting a glance toward in Peshta's direction. You know what? I can do it myself. Can I roll our our perception.
What are you attempting to perceive? The fact that she's not breathing, or
Just to try to see what's her general state of mind. If perhaps she has committed diablo in the last year or something like that.
well, conversation is always communication is always key, and in a situation like that, her typical state of mind right now, she seems to be fairly bored. From what you can easily perceive, a little bored, a little going with the flow, but there's clearly, like most things, more beneath the surface than easily seen, especially from such a small snippet of conversation.
If I remember correctly, Malkavians have like a little bit of a different aura, right? It's like more confused or jumbled or something. Or
No.
is that?
That is not always the case. Psychopathy typically shows up much like changelings, fairy, those infected with magic, a quickly rotating and gyroscopic pattern of lights and emotions that flicker through them. But that same oral effect happens with people who are completely mad.
Well, while we are talking about this, I'm checking that I have premonition or perception. So never mind. Yeah, in that case, I'm gonna see. So, any idea how long were you there?
Man, I got no clue. We went to this disco thing, me and my boys, and then I don't know where my boys are. I don't know if they traded me or sold me or if they're dead or what's going on. But I woke up in that basement, and then there was Captain Autopsy, but he ran off. And yeah, I've been hanging out with these guys for like, what, almost 2 days now?
And what year was that?
That got lost, Clyde. Sorry.
What year was the last thing you remember?
Somebody looking me in the eyes and telling me how lucky I was, but I didn't feel very lucky.
No, yeah, I mean, just because you may have been kidnapped in the 80s or the 60s or.
No, it was Dalton. I remember seeing her at Dalton.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how long I was in that basement, but yeah, it was. I mean, I don't think it's been long. I haven't looked at a newspaper or anything, and I had to throw my damn phone away.
I'm gonna say, well, listen. Probably this whole situation sucks. So, slide, and I put my hand out to shake it.
Hey, Clyde, I'm dizzy.
If I can help you, well, let me know.
I just want to say that everyone is so friendly here. Normally, me and my boys are rolling to town, and they're like, "Get out! We don't like you, nomads. Go away!" But you guys are all like, "Come in the clubhouse. Let's go get some food. This is awesome."
Well, it's kind of the mantra of the place, and I just like twirl my finger around the shelter. I mean, it's even there's good intention behind it. It's not for food or anything.
Well, that is relieving to hear because I am stuck here until maybe forever. I don't know.
All right. So on your walk, Rogers Park is a microcosm of the city of Chicago as a whole. It goes from decently appointed and pseudo wealthy not in a conspicuous way, but just in the fact that everything's manicured, well kept up to its little the heart of its business district for the Rogers Park area for right here on Morris to this pseudo worker day, nice but not extravagantly kept area. And then as you get closer to Sheridan, still a block or two right off, and it hits like a ton of bricks all at once. It goes from that slightly well kept public area to a slum in the matter of a few steps. You cross a street and you're suddenly in the heart of the ghetto. The buildings look far more dilapidated and run down. There are more people hanging out on porches. You see a immediate change in the style of dress. This is more garishly ostentatious to just above rags. People do a lot and spend far more in the attempt to look as if they are not as poor as they are, and the quality shows. And then a few paces more, and you're back on the comfortably middle class, well to do area. And you see Oasis across the street. It's already relatively packed. There are people outside smoking various substances, and only some of it is nicotine. Oasis is a hallmark of the area. It's one of the 3 bars in the area that are open super late night, meaning that they are open past 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Oasis is a local favorite because all of his clocks are always wrong by about an hour. So while it says and states that it's only open until 4, they typically serve food and drink until about 5. And then those who are cool enough to know a bartender or a doorman or even one of the cooks are allowed to stay for another hour or 2, depending on how well their conversation is. So without beating the horse too much, Oasis is a place you go to get drunk, stay drunk, and have the best night that you'll never remember for most people in the area.
Have clients been here before?
Not in a few years, not since his mortal days. When working the news beat is one of the places where celebrities can go and disappear, because here it doesn't matter how much is in your wallet, how much fame you have, or how much status you have. If you're not cool enough to strike up a conversation with the bartender, you're still getting kicked out or thrown out. If you throw a punch at the wrong person, you're still going to get escorted through the building, out the kitchen, and thrown into the dumpsters out back. This is a place where you can go and disappear and just have a drink, just to have a drink, or to have a conversation, or have a late night hookup, as is the case here. There's a certain public privacy about the place.
I'm gonna look for a Hessian. Make a move.
So, like, what's the play here, gang? I mean, I don't know what was going on back there, and I don't know why we're coming over here now. Is this, like, low-key violence, verbal violence? Are we gonna, like, front, look all tough and mean mug at the guy, or what's going on? What's the play?
I think we can talk with people before that.
I'm aiming for diplomacy. I already flexed on them, so I don't need to be any more violent than we already were. I'm hoping that we can offer them a solution that would mutually benefit everybody.
So the opposite. Oh,
Well, that's the hope. But there's a saying that if you want peace, plan for war.
Oh, I've already done that. That's why I went and got stuff from my lab. But as to what the reasoning for this is before we found you, we had an incident at the shelter, and a lot of people at the shelter got hurt due to that incident. And this particular person had a ghoul get hurt in that situation, and he was upset. So he came back to the source, and instead of coming with diplomacy, he tried to strong arm, and obviously we handled it like we handled it. So he retreated and decided to meet on more neutral territory, and that's where we are.
Okay, that's cool. So I guess I will hang back and play the dumb dizzy blonde. And I kind of have a good way with people, so if you need me to step in, just give me a wink or point at me or something.
Just smile and give her a wink.
So, Hashtag, would you be okay with running this whole thing? Because you know, if I do, it's gonna probably go out of hand.
Remembering that he's there and that she had a bone to pick with him, a very severe bone to pick with him, she raises her brow. Yeah, I think it's best I handle this. Because you've already fucked things up way worse than they would be.
Oh, if only we had some space to talk, you would know exactly how badly I fucked things up this time around.
You want me to make you some space?
So plans set. You guys have your point. You have your scout, as it were, in the form of Dizzy. Has your riding point for you all. What are Simone and Alexandra's roles?
Black hoodie, black jeans, boots, and hoodied up and going to not.
I think those were there really case hopefully peaceful, but prepare for war. And also, Alex is kind of curious about how this doesn't.
All right. So plans in place.
By the way, I am taking a head count for security to see who's doing what, how many actual security is around, and how many across that area, or are they just being.
Okay. Well, it's still early for Oasis, so they only have their smaller contingent of security. It means there's 6 guys. 1 guy on the door. They're moving in standard rotations of every 15 minutes. They switch positions throughout the place, keeping a watch on whoever comes in, as well as keeping an eye towards the door. As the evening goes on, they will definitively have, by the end of the night, when they finally close and lock the door, that 6-man team, counting Pointer, the 7, will grow to 15. Partially because they serve extraordinarily strong drinks, partially because they're one of the latest places open, and by the time most people arrive, they've already drunken their way through 1 or 2 previous bars. So beer muscles are definitely in effect. They handle things hard and quick. There's no, but I was just talking. No, by the time that they have to take action, they've already determined to handle it as severely and crushingly decisive as possible. Up until that point, the sky's the limit in terms of your behavior. Whatever chances you take is your chances. but they're known for a place where you just don't fuck around. Step out of line, they will bring the house down on you. So as you all make your way in, it is its usual garish 1970s basement wooden panels out along the walls. There's the 8 dartboards along the back wall, the 2 pool tables not too far removed, and the bar that's shaped like some epileptic's idea of a straight line sitting in the center, taking up a place of full watchfulness. From the bar, you'd be able to see the kitchen, the back door, the front door, all of the pool tables, as well as most of the dartboards. It is a place that backs up security almost as much as it sells alcohol. And the alcohol is flowing. They keep a rotating staff of 4 bartenders on at all times. Most bartenders only work for 4 hours, but they typically end up spending most of their tips back into the bar once they get off, or before they start in some cases. Finding Walnika is not that hard at all. He's already pulled up 3 of the tables at the back of the building, closer to the farthest pool table. And he sits, head cocked down, hood drawn high and tight, and a very much untouched drink in front of him to buy him time, as it were. There's no way he could blend in anywhere except for perhaps the tent city amongst the homeless, or even among the members of the shelter that the Coterie runs. He'd be far more at home there. Here, while not quite sticking out like a thumb, he is very close to that. He's like the fingerless glove at a fine dining operatic evening.
Where is Mike? Is he in the building over in there? Or is he not in play at all?
He is not in the building. Monica seems to have been true to his word, ensuring that they were a place where they could heal up and not be involved.
Good, good. So, Hestia, I'm gonna go ahead and just let you go ahead and do the talking on this one, and I'll just follow behind. I'm actually following behind to see if anyone takes notice, such as security or anybody who possibly could be a threat, even though with security being a threat, or if things could go sideways, I want to be first on the scene and actually be able to see who's doing what.
Okay. That's completely understandable in that case. Would you be so kind? Thank you. Let's go ahead and roll. First, to break down security, I'm going to roll your intelligence and... What's more apropos? Larceny? Yeah. Go ahead and roll your intelligence and larceny. Or intelligence streetwise, whichever one is higher.
One success.
Okay.
Even though it's a chance, so I'm not sure if that's a critical when it comes to.
No, you need 2 of those. But as it stands, security is pretty apparent. While they're still a little busy, they're still a little early for them, and they have a crowd already gathered out front for the smokers. The security's on the ball. They're, doing their 15-minute rotations. They've clearly just rotated because as you all were entering, there were 2 doormen at the door They switch positions, and the doorman who was at the door is now in the northeast corner of the room, watching the crowd nearest the bar. The bartenders are busy pouring and taking shots, and yeah, the crowd's a good selection of homeless chic and well-to-do fuckboy in terms of style of dress.
Okay, I'm gonna disappear into the crowd and actually get a better vantage point of roughly where she is. I'm gonna see if I can disappear without anyone being able to notice that way it looks a lot better. Closer.
Your clothes are clean. You don't smell like alcohol. You're not wavering in your steps. You will be noticed.
Even if I try to actually disappear into the crowd,
You roll your dexterity and stuff. And that's you. What are you doing? Dizzy, Clyde, Alexander. With the crowd being as it is, and Juanita waiting in the corner, what are you guys doing?
She puts on her most non-bothered, pleasant smile and makes a very straight line, weaving around people that might be in her way on the way, trying not to bump anybody and cause any problem, but she's heading right for the table.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. What? As you all settle into that table, well, who else is settling in with you? We know Dizzy was keeping a little bit of a distance. Clyde, Alexander. You going to allow Hester to sit at a table by herself with the former Nosferatu? Well, the Nosferatu, but he looks as big and scary as you would expect in a dark alley when things go excessively wrong.
Dizzy's gonna grab a seat at the bar and order a pair of beers.
Yeah, probably Clyde's around the table, but probably not sitting. Just like standing around, keeping an eye out.
Okay. Alexander? Alex, I think you still have your mute on.
I think I'm just gonna tag along to that meeting with Nick for one how it goes down, like blatantly be kind of like.
All right, sounds like a plan. So Alexander and Clyde are close at hand to Hestia and Monica at the table. And the impression is clear. He looks from one to the other before settling on Hestia. It's very watchful, wary practice. In most places, non-military and civilian life, you always look toward the most important person first. Typically those who've served and those who have not dealt with specifically a Westernized culture, the most important person is the last. Not necessarily out of a lack of respect, but you want to pretty much you want to send it up the line in the proper order. So you don't want to misrepresent yourself or allow yourself to be misrepresented as someone who's not learned. And that's the look and gaze that Wanika gives as you all close in. He recognizes you two as Hestia's security. That much is clear by the simple fact that he pushes a little away from the table, and while not sitting straighter because it's impossible for him to do so, he does attempt to raise his chin a little higher so that eye level to eye level for the conversation. I honestly didn't think you all would show.
I meant what I said about seeing if we can come to something mutually beneficial. Why would I not show up?
Wouldn't be the first time that clean Kindred look down on the homeless. You know, there's a shelter down at Boys Town. You know what they do? To single men, they provide aid for. Now, it sounds nice and good. First, they'll offer you a job. You say, no, I don't have a home, I don't have a social security number, or any other number of excuses that are used to make sure everyone understands your situation. They say, oh, it doesn't matter. Just take this brew. And for the first day or so, everything's fine. Maybe the first week if you look particularly tough, or you forget to shower once or twice. But without fail, by the end of the week, everything that you are would be gone. They sell single homeless men to the blood dealers and the farmers who take that, by that point, drug-laden blood and disseminate it across the city. It's a cottage industry. There are more dealers becoming more active. I heard there was one that trucks specifically in thin blood. It's a cross between blood and vitae. So, luckily I don't know any homeless thin bloods, but people talk. Mike says that you guys are one of the good ones. That's the reason why I was appalled that such things could happen. I never said it, but I do apologize for being so aggressive.
She listens to everything he has to say and is in the back of her mind making notes, because that's appalling, and she doesn't know how she could help that situation just yet, but she is going to find out. For the time being, though, she gives him a very soft, understanding smile, and trust me, I get it, which is why we run the shelter. I don't want people to not have a place that's safe for them. It's not out of a feeling of being better than anybody. It's more of a feeling of, this is what I can do to help. I'm going to use my unlife, such a good word, for good. And I definitely understand why you were upset. I get it. But I definitely think in the future we should all learn better who we're dealing with before we jump into the situation. And that's both on your end and my own. Mike was important, and still is important to our shelter. So I give you my apologies for him being hurt in our watch. It was a situation that was mostly out of my control, obviously. We did the best we could to fix what we could at the time. It was kind of a bit of chaos, and it won't happen again. That's just my goal with this, is that it does definitely not happen again. Mistakes were made on both ends. But what I'm here for, what I'm trying to get you to understand, is that the person that caused the chaos, and I very decidedly don't look in Simone's direction, it was done out of a place of trying to help somebody. And we didn't realize that in trying to help that person, that it was going to bring harm to the shelter. So that person is not allowed back. Obviously, you told me things I did not know. I did not know that this person had walked out of the hospital. I assumed they were dead. And to find that they are not dead, I would like to find remedied, I'm hoping. So if I can help you, that in her eyelashes, if I can help you, lead you in a direction so that you might have what you came to the shelter looking for, I am all for it.
Do you know where she hangs?
I do not, but I do have somebody I'm almost assured know.
Let me find out where she hangs. And we can use her death as my cost, as my initiation into service, into being a hound. There are few people who have better information as to what happens on the street. There are few people willing to execute the duties of the job as thoroughly as myself. And there are few who are not caught in their own circle of vices, such as myself. I don't have any vices. Nothing illegal. Nothing sordid. No secrets that can harm anyone but myself.
Okay, this is just a question for storyteller real quick. Would I know if we're allowed to like deputize people? Can we offer him a job, or is that not a thing we can do?
No, but the best way to get a job is to have a job, and you guys have a job as hounds. So getting another person in comes with its... Your word would carry weight. And it's clear that the sheriff and the Scourge and their other deputized hounds are a little busy.
So resources are a little stretched, then it might be a help to have this person.
Definitively. Especially there's a Nosferatu sitting in a late night watering hole and not one person has cast a strange eye in his direction.
Okay, so that's what I go is I look to them and say, well, while I cannot definitively tell you that you can be a hound, I can definitely put in a good word. I know they could use the help.
Yes.
Somebody so
They most assuredly can. The hound left in the city is partying in Chinatown right now with a group of fucking anarchs. And you guys are, well, dealing with a dirty Nosferatu instead of patrolling the city for new vampires that come from places far and near.
There's definitely a brow hike at that bit of news. But, again, otherwise we got, she's much used to school in her face. Well, that's interesting. So if we give you a lead as to where this person might be, and on like a trial basis, with our backing, say yes to the whole hound thing, are we even then? Are we on good terms? What would you say would be?
I'd say it would be a zero-sum game. Whatever you did to Mike tonight, plus what already happened to him. And then he looks directly at Alex. And you, damn near putting Edward's face through the concrete. I think it'd make us all just about And he actually draws a square in the middle of the space between you guys. His fingers have not been cleaned in years. His fingernails are as long and as dirty as a rat would be. And clearly nearly as sharp.
Well, like I said, she dealt with all sorts. And I mean, obviously running a shelter, they've had some people fairly dirty show up, so this isn't bothering her too much. It's more like a curiosity on her. With that being said, she pretty much okay. Is there anything else you would like to discuss while we're sitting here before I do what I can to get you your reading?
I got complaints, as I'm not officially a hound. What are you guys gonna do about all the anarchs flowing in and out of the city, pissing on Jackson's word?
Well, as we are fledgling hounds at the moment, have you time to get to such things? Despite trying very hard to step into those roles, we keep finding ourselves running into walls of other makings. Namely, the fact that people want us out of the shelter business.
Well,
But,
well, you fuck with Naomi, you're gonna get the fangs.
we didn't. She
You,
was supposed to be a friend.
yeah, well, how do you get your heart broke? Is it by your enemy or by your friend?
That's very true.
I'm interested to hear what is the reputation of
I
Naomi.
mean, I don't obviously don't know before.
Naomi?
But as I said,
The bloody angel? She'll save your life and damn your soul. Like all the fucking blue bloods. She will help you right into the next world if you let her. She's always well-meaning. She's always looking out for your betterment. My buddy Sergio, he, one of the few men led into her shelters. And one thing leads to the next, and some drunk high skis blames him for touching her inappropriately. Naomi not only has Sergio arrested, she snuck in one of her security guys and beat him within an inch of his life. The police found him the next morning, bloody and swollen like a fucking overripe pumpkin. Turns out the skis that pressed charges and shouted at the top of her lungs that he'd touched her inappropriately was angry that while he was giving her the Heimlich, her little pack of sunshine fell out of her pockets. One of the other girls picked it up and had a high old time. And because he gave her the Heimlich, he touched her inappropriately. Yeah, fuck Naomi. Fuck all the well-meaning, misinformed assholes of the world.
very discreetly peek over at Alex to see how he's taking the news of Naomi and what she did.
I just kinda, for the first time in a while, chuckle a little bit, look down. Like with sort of a smirk on my face, shaking.
So there are several things that become apparent. He is far too much in the know, especially when it comes to your business and what happens amongst the homeless. Not just what's officially said, but what actually happened. He speaks with a conviction that borders on zealotry. And while Dizzy's sitting at the bar, 2 beers in hand, no real drinking being done, meaning that she could literally drink the entire bar and none of it would have a direct effect on her. None of it's being absorbed into her very kindred rich vitae. The blood that courses through her doesn't actually course, meaning the alcohol is almost completely and totally useless. It is a beer-flavored iced tea in her hand. However, that doesn't stop the fact that while she's sitting there holding 2 beers and sipping and playing completely and totally mortal, that she has not fooled the drunkards who are near at hand. So, as Dizzy sits and watches, not quite sure what Simone is. He's somewhere in that area back there. The guy sitting next to her, although sitting is a very generously used definition, leans closer. So, you, hey, Harley.
I'm sorry?
Your hair. Harley. It's too dark for punchline. Or,
Oh, yeah, I forgot Batman invented blonde.
he did? Fuck, I'm not ready to tell my friends.
That's his real superpower, you know. He invents hair colors.
Yeah! Like making Jason Todd a brunette instead of a fucking soulless ginger.
And she'll just down one of them beers and set it back on the bar real quick. And go back to playing with her phone.
Hey, buddy. You see the empty bottle? Get another one. So, I bought you a beer. It means I get a blowjob, right?
I think the currency rate you might want to check again.
No, wait, that came out wrong. I bought a blowjob and get a beer now. Wait, no, hang on. And he fumbles around in his pocket. I'm not sure why. Clearly he has a tab with the bartender sits another beer in front of you without even really looking. He fumbles around in his pockets. Pulls out a library card. You gonna help me, you? And realizes that it's a library card only after he's already tapped it twice. Hang on. He takes the library card and libraries it back into his wallet. Looking. Opens the coin portion of it. Trifold wallet. Velcro is very annoyingly loud despite all the music playing from the jukebox. And he's looking intently. Oh, it's here. Where?
Dizzy will attempt to catch the gaze of the bartender, maybe when he's handing over that beer.
Easy. You've done
She'll be
easier
like-
things, but you don't remember when.
She'll be like, hey, does your bar have that secret code when a creeper won't leave you alone, or should I just break his arm?
Bartender chuckles. Just don't get caught. And then he turns back to the cash register. Hey, well, who's bothering you? The drunk guy who's still half looking in his wallet. Let me know. I'll put my face in front of their fists for you.
That sounds awesome, Leroy.
Oh, it's Larry. How'd you know my name?
You just look like a Leroy to me. I guess I'm just lucky that way.
I like how you pronounce Larry. What are you, French?
Yeah, that's it. I'm the French Harley Quinn.
How do you say Harley Quinn in French?
Just like that. Harley Quinn in French.
Oh, that's so wrong. That's like trying to say good day in Australia. You say "gaddy." Oh, that's what. There it is. Hey, and he pulls out a very crumpled, very used, completely out of date condom. How about you help me use this?
My God, did you get that from your dad?
Yeah, the same one he used with my mom.
Well, clearly it works.
Hey, I'm no Jesus Christ. Where's my wallet? And he's holding it in his left hand. And he's looking for it. Did you see it fall?
I did not. So here's the thing, dude. I get that you seem like, a real nice guy and you are very smooth with the ladies and everything, but I hate to tell you, but you're trying to bat way outside your weight class or box or whatever that sports ball thing is. So, just stop. I mean, you can have the beer.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I never had a girl buy me a beer before. You're so cool.
Yeah, that's how that happened. Cool. Now run along.
You heard the lady. Get out of here. That's Aiden.
Hey, dude, Captain Autopsy.
You know, I really don't like that nickname.
I never got your actual name, so it's that or Bro Diddley.
Bro Diddley, huh? Well, hey, I was actually headed back. Are those guys ain't too angry?
I mean, they were a little disappointed. I don't think they're angry. Pull up a chair, man.
He does. He settles in. Look, I got all the way home and someone flipped my apartment. They even checked all of my stash spots. It took me all day just to connect because I don't know, somebody spooked the market or something. My guy down at USC didn't have any, and then you wouldn't believe how hard it was to try to score some blood today, man.
Hey, you remember like everything though, right?
Yeah. Me and my girl, we drove to the party. I got off late, so we didn't get there in time. Normally I work extra hours, so we got there right at like 12:30, 12:45. We split a bag in the car because it's rude to show up and be on the verge of going crazy, hunger, and so we knew we could make it up. Because for all of this, I was looking at getting a promotion. But they're gonna move me up to day shift, and that's a couple of dollars more because you gotta deal with the fucking doctors and shit. And then so we're sitting there, but bag is finished. Then get out. We took one, just a quick shorty, and then turn around and these guys in like biker gear. It's not biker gear, it's like fucked up weird ass like Grand Theft Auto game color shit. Running out, and their bikes wouldn't start. We were surprised because we heard all of like the fireworks that they say were gunshots and grenades, and then there's this smoke starts billowing out the top. But my girl says that club does shows like that all the time, like super weird magic shows, and shit goes wild. She used to be a stripper, so she knows the club. And then they see our car because I fucked up and left it running. I didn't mean to be so mellow, but I left my keys in and the car was running, so they ran to us, and I tried to stop them. Big mistake. And then my girl tried to stop them from kicking my teeth down my throat. Big mistake. Anyway, they got in the car and drove off. Damn near drove over my foot. And then this dude, I know it was a guy, but I can't remember what he looks like. I only saw I saw him. Like, he was smiling and happy. He looked like, I can't remember what he looks like, but it was like big meeting Bill Cosby before all the rape stuff. It's like he looked wholesome. He wasn't Bill Cosby. He wasn't Bill Cosby. He wasn't dark skinned or anything. Well, he wasn't light skinned. I don't know if he was or wasn't, but he made me feel comfortable. Like everything was gonna be all right. Like he was there to help.
Yeah, some of us can do that. Was this the dude with the eyes?
Yeah. And then I woke up and I had to watch my own autopsy. And the worst thing is, they even fucking cleaned me up before putting in the IV. Like, are you serious? You're gonna kill me. Why are you gonna make sure that I don't get an infection?
You know, it's habit. I don't know. Yeah. So here's the thing. I had to chuck my phone because some creeper was calling me and tracking me. So it's not real unlikely that they know a bunch of shit about you too.
I wish they knew enough to get me another job. I went by and I don't have a job anymore. That I was gone for like 3 days. That makes no sense.
I don't think you'd be real interested in the employment opportunities these gentlemen have to offer.
Hey, I can put in an IV with the best of them. How do you think I got so good at getting blood without anybody knowing? I do a double tap, and so a little bit, of course, would go in the vial for the test, and a little bit for me, just a little bit off the top.
Yeah, but I think they were really more interested in harvesting your organs while you were still using them.
Fucking assholes. Wow, like, I really had every intention of not meeting another Kindred ever again. But in light of not really having a safe place to lay my head, like, I think I need to take them up on their offer. Until I figure out what happened with my girl.
All right. Well, I would open with an apology. I think they understand that you kind of freaked out. You know, I didn't speak ill or bad of you or good of you. I just kind of left it neutral. But they were a little disconcerted that you left. So
Cool. Are they like in the bathroom or you just here by yourself?
they're having a discussion with another one of us at the moment. I'm just kind of laying back because I really don't know what the hell's going on.
Me neither. Why would anybody even care about me, man? I was cool. We were low key, out of the way. Look,
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. But these guys seem all right. I mean, nothing bad has happened to me yet, but who knows? I mean, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, but it hasn't yet.
well, you did lose your phone, man. That sucks. Oh, I stole this. Here. He hands you a literally on-the-go phone from Family Dollar. The tag is still on. The reason why you know it's from the Family Dollar. You're not sure how he got into their electronic case because they keep everything locked up except for clothes nobody really should ever wear. But he somehow managed it.
Oh, Hestia gave me one. I'm good. Hang on to that. Sell it or something, man.
I'm probably gonna have to. I had to use my last little bit to catch an Uber up here.
Maybe you can sell it to the Walking Condom Museum I just scared off.
Nah, the best thing I could probably do is give him his credit card back after we have a couple of rounds.
Dizzy will high-five him at that point.
As you high-five him, Simone, you are keeping an eye on an overwatch, as it were, on everyone. From your vantage point, who as close to actually disappeared in the crowd as possible, you are able to see that Dizzy has not had an active moment alone. Not only was that clearly drunkard out of his league, he is spreading idle gossip. He went back and started high-fiving people he had never been associating with since you've seen him as to his efforts. And while he's doing that, you notice the security goes on high alert. 3 of the guys that are on the north side of the room converge on the door. 4 of the guys that were at the back start moving in that same direction. You're not able to see exactly what's happening outside the door because it is a double door. There's one, then there's a little breezeway, and then the door where the security guy actually is, but whatever it is, it's drawn the entirety of their attention.
Is there any way that I can see through a window to get maybe a cross view? Maybe not a complete image, but at least see whether or not they're running towards the cars or are they just fouling out of the door.
From your angle, you'd have to move further away from your coterie and toward the front, far left, so you could see the door at a better angle, but in doing so, you'd be further away from everyone else.
It's better for me to be informed than not, because whatever that is, if that happens like it did at the Blood Disco, we probably would be better off with me knowing. And so far, there was no loud sounds. Esther hasn't screamed. Dizzy hasn't screamed. So while she might not be left alone, at least she's not in any danger. And the rest of the coterie, if they were in danger from somebody as big as Winnuck and Mike, then I would have noticed by now. So I think I could spare them some time and slide back towards the door.
Okay. Denoting what's going on is far easier than why it's going on. The security is actually running to the door and engaging in full-on fisticuffs with uniformed police officers.
Of course they are. Why not? Then, sending a text toward Taheshia, I'm going to slide toward Dizzy and hope that once I get close enough, I'm going to kind of grab her and we're going to all kind of swing towards where Hestia, Clyde are at, and we're going to try to leave out the back door.
Okay. Well, this as you're talking to Aiden, someone puts their hands on you. What do you do?
I probably grab the hand that is on me.
I was reaching to grab your arm. I'm taking it, right, Simone?
In that case, I'll just move my arms to try to dodge out of the way.
Aiden looks up and sees what's going on. Hey, look, man, I'm sorry. I got a little scared. I was lost. I was stuck in a moment. I was like just trying to get to my girl, but it didn't work out. Like my place is trashed. I was hoping and he holds up the Family Dollar phone. I was hoping I could pay for like a night to stay with you guys.
Yeah, later. We gotta go.
Oh, cool. Let's go. Where we going?
What's going on?
Cops bum rushing in front of the bar. There are at least 7 security are outside fighting them. This isn't going good. We gotta get out of here.
That sounds pretty unusual. Yeah, let's round up the gang and hit the mystery machine.
Wait, why are the cops fighting security? Aren't they supposed to be on the same side? Oh,
You let us know.
Oh, sorry. Never mind me. I'm just thankful that you guys are gonna let me stay. I'm cool. Let's go. Where we go?
Start moving towards the rest of the group. Trying to swing by Alex first because I know that he's the most capable and he can help me get the rest of them out of there without drawing too much attention.
Well, Alex, Hestia, Clyde, you see Simone, Dizzy, and Aiden. Clyde, you don't know Aiden. Alex, you know Aiden. Rushing towards you guys. The crowd is still moving. There's still drunkards all about. And they're still partying. But there's a hum of excitement. And you hear someone, damn, they stole the fuck out of that dude. Oh my God. What is that about? Oh fuck, I don't got my papers. Shit. Oh hell no, I'm on papers.
Of course. So I look up and I will. Do I have a way to get in touch with you? An address, like I guess a text message maybe. How close is Simone to me?
2 feet. He's talking. He's moving toward Alexander's first, who has been acting as your security.
I catch his attention. I need the address. Is what I say to him before we leave.
30 feet.
Address to what?
You know what? Where did you see her last?
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. We can discuss that when we're not potentially about to be murdered. How about that?
You have her address.
He does.
Hey, I get the pissing contest is real important to our kind, but we need to go.
I get that we need to go.
Since everybody knows that we need to go, I'm going. And I start moving in towards the back.
Yep, I'm following.
I say very quietly, very angrily in my breath. He's going to make me stake him again. Yeah. I look back at Waneka. I promise you, I will get you the address. And then
I'm just trying to spread through the crowd, not actually touching or engaging with anyone. Just kind of moving through the crowd, trying to flow through it as best I can.
You all hear a howl of near animalistic pain. It was clear when you had the exchange in front of him that there was a certain amount of stress that Waneka was dealing with. Partially the same stress you all would be dealing with if you watched one of your touchstones come to harm, or trying to restrain yourself from acting on your most basic defensive urges, that predatory possessiveness that you all have for those people in your lives that matter. The same feeling of protectiveness, that possessive need to assert one's semblance of control over the world around them, to keep what you hold in high esteem as unmolested, as unviolated, as undamaged as the world seeks to make it. That howl of pain is one you all know with every fiber of your being. It is literally someone reached into your chest and tore a hole in your heart. Bad things happen when such matters as that happen, especially when the kindred are involved. The restraint that he'd been showing and the willingness to actually meet on somewhat even ground, for Nosferatu giving away free information is akin to underselling yourself, or very well, actually selling yourself by giving it away. And he seeded this conversation with tidbits of valuable information to prove both his worth and his dedication to what he set before himself. Protecting the homeless, avenging them, being a protector and a soldier in the war of what's right. Protect those less than you, to make sure that those who the world views as less have someone to speak on their behalf. That pained howl, you all know it typically precedes dismemberment, death, decapitation. There's several other D's that factor in, but it usually ends up the same way. Something or someone will meet a very unsavory end. The only thing that might vary is how bloody that end might be.
I give them all a very pointed look as we rush away. That is exactly what I was trying to avoid.
Making it out the back is far easier than expected, partially because the back is usually where they throw those who are too drunk to know better. So as you all come barreling out of the back door ahead of whatever is happening inside, you see a gentleman in cargo shorts falling off the lip of the nearby dumpster. The gate out into the alley, which leads north and south, is open. Police clearly have not made it to the back or haven't found a way back to this portion of the alley, because while it does dead end, what most people don't realize is at the dead end, if you make a left and then a right, it actually continues on. It's an optical illusion, and you don't realize that it's not a dead end until you actually get there. Having lived in the area via the shelter, both Simone and Hestia would know this. Are you guys going to head toward the street, or you can take the alley wherever it leads?
I would suggest we push the dumpster in front of the door first so that we aren't followed, and then we should head home.
I'm fine with that, but I'm not planning on going home.
As somebody that doesn't need to breathe, the fact that she takes a very measured, very slow breath is a statement in and of itself. Fingers are starting to flex, and the beast is whispering in her ear just under the surface, because he has tried her patience a lot this evening.
Does anyone move the dumpster?
Yeah, I'll push it.
And if I want to, I don't think I can.
Well, luckily the dumpster is as filled as it is. The wheels gunked up and caked on actually do help in its movement. The one thing that you all find, and you hope that no one ever expects to find a piece of a corpse lying underneath the dumpster. But lo and behold, as the dumpster is moved in front of the door, there is exactly just that. The upper 3/4 of a human torso attached to the bottom portion of a jawline. Its skin, having been eaten away by the rats, is still relatively fresh, meaning that it was dumped there within the last week. The most glaring thing, if one discounts the fact that there is a portion of a human corpse lying there, is the fact that that bottom jaw bone that is there and still in place, because the tongue has been and the soft palate has been removed or eaten away, is the fact that their canines are elongated, very much vampire-like.
Huh, that's not good. And she will reach down and snap those teeth out.
Yeah, about that.
That is not good at all. Yes.
Does the dumpster smell like putrefaction, or just like regular dumpster smell?
Unfortunately, the dumpster has a very regular dumpster smell. It is the dumpster behind the bar that never closes, so it's filled with very acidic contents of someone's stomach. It is filled with very real and very messy remnants of some bloody fight. It is filled with more bottles and various alcohols than one would assume gets tossed out. There's literally enough liquid mass in this dumpster that if you were of a mind and it could have some effect on you, drinking it would make you drunk for the next year.
Yeah, but I mean, putrescine has stronger smell for the human nose than most other smells, meaning corpses smell over garbage.
No, the dumpster smells exactly like the dumpster.
All right.
The body,
So,
however, is another matter entirely. It takes a lot to kill a kindred. Usually, another kindred, some supernatural being, another kindred, some other supernatural being, guns if you use enough of them consistently enough by tying them down, kindred. So, a lot. Not much can kill a kindred except for, fire, sunlight, kindred, supernatural beings. Oh, and kindred can kill kindred.
Yeah. Even though the body's kind of old and mostly degraded, at a glance, is there any way that I can tell roughly how long it's been there and what did he die of? I'm thinking Kindred is not fire though, right?
Well, this particular corpse clearly died of being ripped asunder, which means they've taken enough damage where being separated from the other portions of themselves was enough to do them in permanently. Also, they were young enough where they actually left a corpse instead of a pile of ash.
Okay. Alright. File that away. We're gonna need that.
So young, in fact, that the tattoos on their torso are still present.
I asked Aiden if he knows this guy.
What? Why would I know a corpse? Well, besides you guys, we don't. Me and my girl didn't hang with anybody, but that. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's nice ink work. Of course, I wouldn't wear it. That's them damn golden suns down in Chinatown.
Perfect. Thanks. So, you guys need to go. I will see you guys later.
I'm good with that. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no smoke. And you guys hear the sound of sirens.
I think this is not gonna resolve tonight, so I'll move up.
Alice, I think your mute is still on.
Say again?
When I was calling out Alex to see if his mute was still on.
Yeah, sorry, it was. Could you tell me what you said again?
In regards to Aiden identifying the corpses, the tattoo is from the Golden Suns in Chinatown? Or...
Yeah.
Well, with everything that you've learned tonight, you're not that surprised to see a corpse like this. Last year, being set off by one of her girls, and she considers every member of the shelter one of her girls, including those that don't actually go to the finishing school that she started or who attend the workforce classes that she offers. She considers them all her girls. After the rape of one of her girls in her shelter in Boys Town, Naomi had a cleaning of the house of sorts. Turns out that several well-known local gangs had attempted to begin using the shelters as storage houses for their mules. They found that women in particular were better suited. They obtained more privacy. One of those gangs that you put a very nice end to, at least with dealing with any of the various shelters that Freeman Charities runs, were the Golden Sons. You and Naomi Security went on a tear and made sure that it was understood that no such actions were to ever take place. There was vengeance sworn, but realistically, what could an angry human do to a vampire, especially when they didn't realize that they were vampires? Seems as if that may have changed. Alright, so starting in alphabetical order, what are we doing based on the information thus far? There are sirens in the distance. There's a dumpster against the back door of the bar. There is a full-blown mini riot taking place in front of the bar. There is a vampire corpse which bears a sign of some gang in Chinatown. There is a very angry Kindred inside said bar. Probably not any longer, but he still hasn't made his way back to you all. You all have Aiden in tow. What's everybody's action? Starting in reverse alphabetical order.
I'm heading down the alley, and I'm gonna kind of go left away from all the action with the. I'm gonna head that way, and then find my way to find my phone and actually call here and find out where she is.
Okay. That's you.
I'm very seriously debating stabbing Simone in the back, but lets him go because they don't have time, and leads everybody else, I guess, back heading towards the haven where they'd probably be the safest, so they can regroup and figure it out.
All right, Diz.
If I haven't already, Dizzy wants to snap those fangs out of his mouth so it's not obvious what he is, or at least less obvious what he is, and just put him in her pocket. She'll ditch him a block away or something in a trash can or something.
All right, sounds like a plan. So you're heading with Hestia or Simone?
Yeah, heading with Hestia.
All right, Clyde.
Yeah. Where are we going? Back to the shelter.
Yes, that's where Hestia's heading.
Yeah, sure.
Alex.
Probably going with Simone and yeah.
All right, sounds like a plan. And as the coterie bearing
Sorry,
the
where's Simone heading? Because I have trouble hearing him.
he's trying to establish distance between himself and the coterie. He seems to have a mission in mind. He's moving with some due purpose.
All right. Yeah, then to the shelter.
All right. So, with the weight of decisions prevalent and foremost in everyone's mind, a plan being calculated in Hessians as you all make your way across and away from the immediate trauma and drama of whatever is happening at the Oasis. Now is the best place to take a small, quick break. It is 23 after the hour. We will meet you right back here at 33 after the hour, and we will see the results of all of our decisions thus far and where the Coterie lands. So see you guys in 10 minutes. And like baby fat jeans, we are back.
I'm not sure how many other people are here. I
I'm here.
haven't heard them.
I'm here.
All right. We got Clyde, Simone, Diz, Alex.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Let's give a couple of seconds for Alex. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Welcome back. All right. So, what we have ahead of us is Simone stalking down the alley on his phone. Alex in his shadow moving behind him. Hestia, Diz, and Clyde heading back towards the Coterie's haven. So, Alan Simone, we're going to get to you in a quick second. As you, Hestia, Diz, Clyde, as you all are heading back towards the haven, the thing that becomes apparent in the struggle of that mini riot that's happening in front of Oasis is a truth comes to light. You all did not hear any sirens until you were already out back and already making your way away from whatever that was growing into. Yet, the moment that you made it out back, you began to hear sirens, which means that the initial fracas, the initial scrum that began that situation happened without the police being called in. It happened because the police were moving to the area, lights and sounds off. For Hestia, who's been around the block several hundred times, who has lived in the area and dealt with the stress and strain of being in a blacked out media area, of the struggles and travails of the Coterie establishing itself and its domain, that usually means that someone somewhere up high called in favors. It was a targeted action. They were not called, and if they were called, it wasn't for the purpose of whatever chaos was fomented by their arrival. It sets off alarm bells. And sure as cats have 9 lives, those alarm bells, where there's smoke, there's fire, make themselves apparent. Seems as if your reprieve may not be in place any longer. There is a young lady being escorted out of the haven. A young lady, Esha, that you know is one of the many volunteers. She typically doesn't work at night, partially because it's unsafe for her, partially because she's a college student, but she typically doesn't work at night. And there's nothing that you can think of that would ever make you think of any criminality when it comes to her. Maybe a little too bubbly, maybe a little too ebullient at times, but no criminality. In fact, the opposite of such. She has helped mount defenses and touts ACAB and defund the police and civil disobedience, perhaps, but nothing of the sort that would require the 2 detectives' cars unmarked, the 3 blue and white, and the 1 paddy wagon that is sitting outside of the haven.
This night just keeps getting better and better.
I assume that's not normal then?
Now, normally the police, well, it used to be that the police stayed away from us. We didn't do anything to catch their attention. At once, unfortunately, I can't say the same. We've been trying to fix it. Really trying to fix it. But I guess our time has run out. I'm gonna try my best to smooth this over and try to figure out what's going on without any further things being escalated. So a very
Aiden rests his hand on your shoulder. Maybe I should be a little more honest. And he points. Standing in the crowd of people, just a few feet away from the police, well, several feet, almost like several yards away from the police, gawking, many with cameras out, is, gentlemen, you have met from a distance previously. He came to the Haven a few weeks ago to speak with Simone. He is dressed in a off-brown trench coat that of a style they no longer make. His black on black clothing looking to you as very much like a priest's cassock. And he's texting away. He hasn't noticed you. But
I
Aiden
remember him.
points. Me and my girl weren't supposed to come to anybody's attention. But there was a card, and that's the dude whose card it was. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring any of this to you guys. I was just looking for a place to lay low and think about things and try to find a way back because they tore up my apartment. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Look, I'm really, really sorry. But maybe, do we have another place to go, or can we, avoid them? Because I really don't want no trouble with no police. I want smoke from time to time, but not that type of smoke. Like a nice fat bag of green, maybe even a little laced, but not that type of smoke.
So you brought him here, or what the fuck, Aiden?
Everybody know that's one of the big dudes. He fixes shit and disappears people. And getting his card, it left in my apartment. I didn't mean to bring him. I didn't know. I thought if I disappeared for a little bit but yeah, that's a scary dude.
But he was in your apartment. You didn't. I mean, dude, oh fuck.
I'm sorry. Look, I thought if I disappeared, no one knows that I know you guys. At least I didn't think anybody did. I don't even really know you guys like that. But you guys were nice, so I thought I could lay low with you guys. There's no reason why I can't even came back this way.
She reaches up and puts one finger on his lips to shut him up and looks at Hestia. I says, so who's this guy? How badass is he? How far up the chain?
On any other night, I think I'd be okay. But right now, I have no clue how bad things are gonna get. I would say the best thing for you guys is to make your way to the tunnel. Make sure that you aren't followed. I will try to do damage control here.
I mean, he clearly already knows about Aiden. And I'm assuming about me now, too. She'll remove her hand. What?
I'm really, really sorry. Like, I didn't know. I thought if I disappeared, they couldn't find us. Well, me or you or anybody.
I'm gonna say, well, maybe let's go out of the back and then try to get far away from here. Just checking. Is the police car still there?
Yeah, there's, like I said, there's several marked and unmarked, as well as an actual full-blown paddy wagon sitting out front. The Clyde being a part of the Coterie as long as you have, you know that the way that Hess you're speaking of is the more secretive way that you guys had been entering through the sub-basement, through the morgue, into the actual haven, not just the shelter.
All right.
Look, I get Aiden's got a special situation, but isn't it better for me to get ahead of this?
Yeah. I think we better clear out so they don't find anything out of the ordinary.
Well, as the face of the shelter, I can't hide. So, anybody that needs to hide could probably go the way that I was telling you to.
Yeah, I take them out the back and then I'll make my way here.
All right, there's the choices. Unenviably yours. If you feel that you should go hide, the Clyde is leading Aiden away, and he's going further north on the block. What are you? Are you sticking and siding with Hestia, or are you moving with Clyde?
Well, they've kind of indicated that I should not be here, so I guess we're going to move with Clyde, even though our instincts say that running away just makes her look guilty of something.
All right, sounds like a plan. So, fighting your survivor's instincts, which speak very much to never turning your back to a ambush prey animal, and Kindred are ambush prey animals typically. As you, Clyde, and Aiden make your way further away from Hestia, there's a sinking feeling that things have gone from frying pan completely and totally into the fire. Hestia, as you close on Norris, he actually still doesn't look up from his phone. He's typing on a very old looking BlackBerry. It's the full-on wide-faced cellular device you have not seen in ages. Even when they brought it back, they didn't bring it back looking like that. This is the old, new, modern, very rough, squared edged device that you saw in the hands of modern urban professionals on every corner, at every office, in every bar. It became eponymous with the person who was overworked, underpaid, and struggling and chasing that bag. Oh, hey, he says as he sends the message he was composing. You know, it'll take another 30 seconds to reach wherever it's going, even though, cellular communication is almost instantaneous. Funny meeting you here. Where's the African?
I wish I knew.
Yeah, I'm glad you don't. That means that we don't have to apply any more pressure. Just deliver the message. Time's up.
I can see that.
Yeah, well, you can get her out or have somebody get her out in a couple of hours. She's going to be processed. Some of her friends and associates got up to a little dirty mischief. They They tagged and spray painted up a police car over in Logan Square. It's actually really funny. But, crime's a crime. There's only so long you can get away with doing such things.
Mm. You know,
I do.
the situation. I really wish it had gone another way.
Me
I
too.
honestly think happened is you ended up talking to the wrong to get anything done, as I'm finding out.
Hmm.
Where did we go wrong? Because I never got to find that out.
Well, 2020 hindsight and all that good stuff. Where you went wrong was it wasn't a priority. You guys have several months to get this done. And when it was done, and done in a mess. So, yeah. I always said he should have just stuck with left.
Right?
Hmm?
Are you the general or are you a soldier?
I'm an LT. I get things done because I'm able to follow orders. And I know not to piss into the wind. So let me guess, you're trying to speak in the African stead and take over some of the blame and responsibility for this. My suggestion?
No, he's pretty much wholly to blame in this.
Ouch, that's a little harsh, but okay, cool, whatever. My suggestion in this, you guys have good standing in the ivory tower right now, especially with whatever happened with the old ancient rabble rouser. My suggestion, just find a scapegoat. Push come to shove. That's all it requires at this point. The situation is already well beyond what was manageable. So find a
You
scapegoat.
have somebody in mind.
I always have a lot of people in mind that need to catch a suntan. But I'm hearing some trouble down in Chinatown. Probably should go take care of that officially as a hound and unofficially, That's what I would have done. But not my job to do your job. My job is to tell you, time's up. He motions with two fingers, your eyes to his eyes. Message delivered.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sounds like a plan. Make sure it gets to who needs to hear it. And I'll be in contact by Friday. We got a lot of things in the fire right now, so you get a few more days, maybe a week after this. But after that, then, well, I'd invest in fire insurance if I were you all. Hound or not,
Noted.
you still gotta render unto Caesar what is his. And taking someone's debt means you need to pay it. So who's the blonde? I know the crack addict you guys are hanging with. Him and his girlfriend got some come up and do, but I don't recognize the blonde.
Comeuppance. According to here.
You're a hound, according to you. Isn't that the reason why Alexa is come back from the secret mission that Damien Myers were sent on?
No, that's the point. Secret mission.
No, well, if you don't know, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You lay down with dogs, you're gonna get fleas. And trash like that will definitely give you fleas. Him and his girlfriend are part of are part of a little coalition of not quite kindred, not quite mortals. They've been stealing blood and drawing attention to the fact that we exist. They haven't been put down because Jackson has kept the hounds and the archons a little busy. Once those matters clear up in Milwaukee, they'll be back, and well, the Scourge is going to have more than her hands filled rounding all those jackasses up. Shame too. They're a good source of money.
Well, I wouldn't be running a shelter if I turned people away when they needed help.
You wouldn't be running a shelter if you didn't deal with dirty people. Not a dirty person. I'd get rid of them if I were you. Or not. You can always just string them up, pop in a couple IVs, and drain them for all he's worth. As long as you feed the fucker, they'll keep reproducing blood free of charge for you. But that's just my thing. Anyway, I got another thing I gotta take care of. You know anything about? Nah, you wouldn't. You're too far out of the loop. Keep your.
Try me. I'm surprised what I know.
Sure, why not? I got a couple of minutes. There's a rumor that Urzuli is siding with outside of the city Toreador. You know anything about that?
Hmm. Well, I can't say that I knew that, and I can't say that I'm entirely surprised. She knows a lot of people. She really does. But I think she's smarter than that. Wouldn't you say so?
I don't put anything past anybody, especially these days. Your lot is full-time crazy. The only African I stopped by.
Will do. How much is going to be her bail, by the way?
Oh, she can get on an iBond as long as somebody posts it. It's 10% down, so about $1,000.
Okay.
She has a rap sheet. Her and her friend. You'll figure all that out when you go bail her out or have someone bail her out. She'll be at the 35th.
Gotcha.
He heads off, gets into a car, and drives away. Yes, as you were saying goodbye, he literally just turns on his heels and walks away. Clyde, you've made your way in this way several times. You never really took into account how dark it actually is. There's no lights. There's nothing that clearly denotes what it actually is. There's bushes and twigs and sticks purposely in the way to make it seem as if it's unoccupied space. You know much better, and you know that the camouflage of the ramp that leads down to the sub-basement is camouflaged in the way that it is to keep people out of it. So hearing voices ahead of you as you, Dizzy, and Aiden make your way down is a little disconcerting.
Okay, can I do a premonition?
Yes.
Out of curiosity, storyteller, do I have a headache?
No. But remember, your headache only happens. Well, that sort of headache only happens when someone's actually in the haven. Clyde, my good man, your roll is resolve plus aspect. So you got what your
Okay.
result is?
Yep.
Right.
So. So the suspects is. So since the last time I played, how do I keep the same hunger level?
Let's say your hunger's at 1.
Okay.
You'd have had the opportunity to feed and rest and
Alright, so that's 4 successes.
You've seen this portion of the vision before. There's that Harlequin-esque blonde gentleman juggling the strange symbols. There, the dark crown resting atop the other two. There is the shadows moving and writhing with the sound of animalistic fury. All of that you've seen before. All of that comes back in bas relief, as if it's still oppressing down. It still hasn't happened quite yet. What is different? What is different and what does stand out is you see Hestia and some other woman behind a glass wall, behind a force field of some sort that you can see. You know that it's there, but it's clearly either glass or some other strangely super hard substance. They're sitting, watching, holding hands. Seems really nice. Kinda, sorta. Like at peace somehow. You see Alexander kneeling before this huge portion of rock. It's bleeding like it has stigmata. You see Lucio wrestling with some amorphous blob. Seriously at war, like giving his all. There's a sheen of blood sweat on his brow. He's straining and struggling. And then you see Simone buried, falling deeper beneath a metric shit ton of roses of different colors. And as you try to suss out and cipher through what those nebulous, undefined symbols and symbology that takes place actually mean, you see a Chicago police badge flying at you. You see blood in a tube, and it's falling away. Half of it maintains its deep, rich, near arterial color. The other portion is nearly see-through. And you see that vial of blood, that watery, near not quite blood, cracking open atop the haven and drowning every one of you.
I'm gonna go to DC and tell her I think there's trouble ahead, so I'm gonna go in front and you stand by, and you two pointing to the other guys. Stay out of sight.
Okay.
Dude, out of sight where? There's police back there. Vampires, like super duper badass vampires, and
stay here until you see the people that's in front of us leaves or somebody comes to claim you. Okay.
Sure, man. Okay. Okay, whatever. Okay, cool. Wait right here. I don't want to believe nobody anyway.
So, I'm gonna try to walk towards the people that's in front of us. So I guess I'm making a stealth roll.
All right, roll discerning stealth for me.
This is not the character to stealth. Alright, I'm gonna rouse my blood.
All right, go ahead and give me that rouse roll.
So I failed. Lost by 1. And then roll for dexterity. So 4. One success.
You are the definition of unseen, unheard. It's dark. There's no one close enough to you. You don't need to breathe, so your breath isn't causing a disturbance in the forest. Your heart isn't beating in your chest. You don't smell particularly of aftershave or hair tonic or deodorant, or you don't smell of it, much of anything at this point. You are stealth redefined. You feel like Lightning McQueen in the beginning of Cars. It says, "Speed, I am speed." You, in your head, say, "Stealth, I am stealth."
How much people can I see?
3. Carrying. They shouldn't be as appointed as they are, but 2 of them are holding baseball bat with railroad ties punctured through. So yes, they really do have a clubbed mace in a homebrew version of a mace. The 3rd is considerably more problematic. They have somehow obtained an actual katana. It's clear they don't know how to use it. You've seen movies, you've seen books, you watched a few of the YouTube videos, and he's holding it very much like you would a baseball bat. Because for him, that's really all it is. It's just a heavy piece of metal. This happens to have an edge on it. Hopefully the edge hits, but if not, he still can club you to death with this heavy piece of metal.
So, can I take a little bit to see if they are breathing or blinking, or just to see if they are human or non-human?
They are breathing, they are blinking, and they are closing on you. Look, man, we just want the blood, and nobody had to get hurt. We saw all that shit that's happening out front, so we know this is your only way in. We've been watching you guys for about 2 weeks now. And if you go hang around with fucking hypes, you're gonna pay like a hype. Give me the blood.
I'm gonna tell them that you really shouldn't be back here.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Somebody's head gotta get cracked, and then we heard this was a place to make it happen. And pause. Clyde, things are going to get bad. Alexander, Simone, as you guys move away from the coterie, you, Simone, on your phone, Tanithia responds almost instantaneously. "Come on back, baby. You know where I'm at. I feel a lot better, and you're going to love what I did, what I taught them."
Sure, I'm gonna bring a +1. You cool with that?
Oh, that's going to be so much fun. You won't believe Ed and his wife have a friend who has a friend. But anyway, come back. I'll show you.
Sure. Alright, disconnect the phone. Tell Alex, alright, I got a game plan but I need your help with this. Can you do it?
That's not what you're asking me to do.
Alright. When we get Tanika away, we're gonna find out if there's any chowder that she made. We're gonna get her and the chowder somewhere away, and at that point, I need you to reach out to Hestia and tell her to send that psychotic dude wherever we get her and those vampires away from, and he can have them.
So just.
Yeah, pretty much, and let her know to get that zealot to wherever we can get them away from, because this is one of my feeding grounds. So I kind of don't want anyone who could be a hunter to be there or be able to find out where I hunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'll know if I need help. Just fill me in if I need help, okay?
Alright, so should I just follow you and watch?
No, you're gonna be at my +1, so you can have some form of anonymity. But when I'm gonna be in trouble at some point, and that's when you know that it's out of hand and take action.
Okay, I see. I'll just.
Perfect. Head back to the house with him. Head back to the house and meet Tanika and the other three.
All right, so the house is richly appointed, Alex. You've never seen such everyday signs of wealth. It's just there. It's just all over the place. Now, you spent the last 5 years working with Naomi. So while the things that are in the shelters are built to last and they are a little costly, they're not signs of wealth. They're signs of sturdiness and reliability. Of near everyday use, but something that's going to last you a few years. None of her girls go hungry, but they're not exactly eating 5-star meals. None of the people even at the H3 shelter where you are with the Coterie will go hungry. And Amali's a great cook, but it's still not ostentatious. Even subtly so, it's still ostentatious. And that's what you walk into. This place is and then the scent hits your nose. Roll, resolve, and composure, both of you. Because as you all make it to the door, the lovely perfume of blood reaches you all. And in a place this size, in a home this large, for blood to be wafting along the air with such intensity speaks volumes. Liters upon liters of blood has been spilled.
I got one.
Yeah. Alex, what's your result? All right, so we're gonna use your roll. Alice, I think your mute's still on. But as you both walk into,
Sorry, my phone low battery and that.
Oh.
Resolve and
Yes, sir. You're able to hold it together, even though there's something in your own vitae, something in your own genes, as it were, that forces a small smirk of smile, a recognition. It's like walking home and smelling the oven on, and cookies slowly, softly baking to the ooey gooey, and just anyway, you shake that thought off, and both you and Simone walk through into the home. In the home, waiting in the hallway for you, is Synethia. Simone, just a few hours earlier this evening, she was in full brace mode. She was braced and cast and looking all the worse for wear. And despite it all, looking just as physically scrumptious and adorable as you always enjoyed in most of your partners. There's a certain classicness about her. That veneer of hurt, that battered angel aspect is gone. She is standing in a knockout evening gown. Arms stretched wide. Hey there, Simone. Oh, and your plus one is so handsome. I got Eddie and his wife Sandra had a friend who is, well, I'll just let him introduce himself. Come on this way. We've been partying up a storm. Him and his friend Lorraine, she don't say much, but she's cute too. Anyhow, Simone, this is Mo, Simone. And you are, she says to you, Alex.
kind of full. Do you guys have a bathroom?
What? It's a little occupied right now, but I'm sure the girls inside won't mind. Just say hi to Twixie and Artesia. You gonna like them. I know I certainly did. So, Simone. And over there in the corner is Lorraine. If you all look to where she points, sitting not far from the slightly older gentleman who's resting, one leg crossed over the other, jotting into a leather-bound journal, is a blonde with a dark blue to her eyes and a very recently deceased look about her. She is not even attempting to use blush of life or to seem human. And the gentleman she introduces as Mo stands up and offers his hand. Good evening, Simone. I've heard of you.
Exactly what have you heard, then? Well,
Zuli finds you boring and staid. Cronus finds you far too inquisitive. Luke finds you far too disrespectful. And Stryker finds you useful. All in all, you're a legend, and the legend of your coterie spreads. And then he strokes Synethia's chin. This lovely of yours insists on calling me Mo. You can call me Modius. He looks nothing like you've been told. While he's stocky of frame, and clearly much older than you were when you were embraced. His hair is freshly coiffed, his beard trimmed into a neat goatee and he's wearing strangely stylish and modern clothing. His shirt a deep peacock blue, setting off his similarly blue but darker pants, with his shoes seeming handmade and stitched. Tasteful Movado sitting on his wrist, not a Rolex, not anything ostentatious, just a nice standard everyday watch. And both his ring finger and pinky bearing a pinky ring and what looks like a wedding band if it was on the wrong hand. I've been meaning to reach out to you and your group for some time, since Razuli speaks so highly of you. I, unfortunately, have not had the opportunity. Sit, we have a lot to discuss.
I go to one area that gives me access to visually see the window, door, and Modius. So you are the famous Modius that I've been hearing about.
Infamous, most assuredly, based on your apparent paranoia. If I was going to do you harm, I would have simply reported you for this. And he smiles at Sanithia. Do forgive me, I don't mean any insult when I say this, but this situation is most untenable. Luckily, I've dealt with many untenable situations and managed to survive them all. Question that must be begged now is, would you like to?
And that'd be accomplished, and what would it cost?
Everything has a cost. The question is simply a matter of will. As long as you are alive, you can survive anything. If you're unwilling to pay the cost, then payments come due, and there's no promise that tomorrow will be seen.
True. Again, what exactly are you offering, and what is the cost?
I'm offering you survival of this situation. You have 6 unasked for children to be responsible for. And as a hound, your transgressions would be viewed in a light most harsh, as well as if anyone were to find out that you were a member of the clan from the very outset, well, that has its own cost. As well as, let's not talk about your activities in New York.
Well, that's definitely not talk about New York.
So, as you see, the costs are quite high, but what I'm offering you is simple, enlightened understanding that not everything is as it seems, and that tomorrow will come without your head being one of the many things we departedly mourn.
Okay, storyteller outside of the game. How is Modius seen by the rest of the government, as well as most people in and around Chicago?
From the gossip that you've absorbed thus far, Modius is the Prince of Gary.
Okay, alright. Okay. And how would I pay this debt?
Honestly, directly, forthright, and with all due transparency when the time comes.
Okay.
I'm sure you're accustomed to dealing with members of our clan that are far more duplicitous. Duplicity was never my strong suit, which is the reason for my various foibles along the way. I mean to exact my revenge on Chicago. I mean to ensure that I get away with it. And I mean everything that I say. I don't believe in taking shortcuts or hiding my aims. I don't believe in cutting you down with praise and building you up with insults. Simple, direct. So, while you mull that over, I'll leave you and Lorraine while me and Sanithia speaking in the next room. I'll be back in a few moments. And he steps away with Sanithia, offering his hand and taking hers as they step into the kitchen. In the bathroom, Alex, there are two newly created Kindred. You know that they are newly created because not only are they nude, because they had to scrub away the remnants of their death, but in the bottom of the bathtub where they are is a gentleman with medium-length dreads and clearly works out every day, but he has been bled not just within an inch of his life, far past it. They took turns based on the number of bite marks that trail their way along his body from his groin to his neck and back, down his arms, across his back, some in his thigh, and one even in his foot. But whatever frenzy or rage possessed them has passed, because they are now showering off the remnants of all that they've experienced.
That's quite the overkill.
It is clear that whatever's taking place in this house is wrong by every stretch of the imagination. There has not been merely one potential new vampire made. There have been many. You hear activities in the other rooms. It's only in the quiet of the bathroom with the trickle of the water running that can you stand here and know that elsewhere in the house there's activity that would probably get people staked. There's no screams, because that doesn't happen when it's fed upon. But there are the slow, slapping, flailing sounds of someone breathing their last. All right, and while you mull that over, Hesha, Norris left you mid-conversation. It's clear that that rudeness is something that only elder vampires are able to comport themselves with. Do you go looking for Clyde and Dizzy and Aiden, based on the information you receive from Norris?
Yeah, she's gonna make her way into the shelter, passing whatever detectives there are. If she can still see the girl that got arrested, she'll shout to her, "I'll get you out, don't worry." And then on her way in, she's gonna stop and text Simone so that he very much knows that Norris stopped by and make it in all caps. Norris says, "Time's up." And caps lock off states, "I don't know what you're doing, but you've made us another enemy tonight. You're not taking the Coterie's safety in the first of your mind. You're worried about yourself, it seems. So, do what you have to do, but don't be surprised if we stop cleaning up after you. Hit send. And I go looking for Clyde.
Alright. And Clyde, it is clear that these individuals have every idea of harm in mind. Is there anything you'd like to do in advance of their very reckless, hasty action?
Yep. I'm gonna try to. Whose eye can I get line of sight on?
Well, they're closing quickly, so you have 3 targets to choose from. And it's clear that they don't have. They're nowhere near as skilled as Simone or Alexander or Lucio, because each of the weapons that they have requires a certain arc distance, and they're not taking that into consideration.
Well, in a very loud voice, I'm gonna try to tell the guy with the katana to something in the way that now you will chop this guy, and I'm gonna point one of those two.
All right, sounds like a plan. Dizzy, Aiden is bouncing back from foot to foot, and you've seen that behavior before in many people, never amongst the kindred. And then you hear Clyde's voice very sternly, very loudly. You're going to chop him.
All right. Well, I actually say sigh, and I come up to join Clyde.
All right, so you're rushing forward as you see 2 clearly similar beings, well, 3 clearly similar beings to Aiden, meaning not quite human, not quite kindred. They are armed. They are armed, and they seem to have every inclination of doing bodily harm, if not just hurt his feelings, to Clyde.
I think if they are humans, I don't need to roll, but if they are ghouls or something else, I do need to roll.
Yes.
So I did roll, and I got 7 successes, but they are all on blood dice.
Nope, I got you. I see it. All right.
3 successes for all blood dice. Yes.
So, Dizzy, you see this scene as they're closing to do harm, and you hear Aiden's footsteps behind you. It's clear that these individuals are much the same as he, having been so close to him and watched him in action. You know the telltale signs. You know the telltale need that's seemingly overwhelming their good common sense.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw up awe, and then I'm going to speak, and she's going to be like, "You dumb motherfuckers. You have no idea the fucking day I have had. I fucking got a giant hole in my memory. I had to lose my fucking phone. I loved that phone, by the way, and I'm taking it out of one of your asses. You pick which one of you fucking dies. I don't give a shit, but put your shit down and fucking choose."
All right. Oh, no. That was very vociferous. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, people. At this point, what we have in front of us is Alexander standing in the bathroom with newly created kindred who have little to no control over themselves. Never having tasted the good stuff, i.e. the vitae from another vampire. At least not while being a vampire. Clyde and Dizzy, you are facing off against 3 very much cracked out and low frenzying thin bloods. Hester, you're moving through the shelter and realize that all of the roosters have come home, at least for now. And Simone, you are sitting with the former, still believed Prince of Gary in a house where he's just informed you that you are responsible for 6 newly created Kindred. And I would like to thank you all for such a lovely session. We have gone over a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you all next week for the epilogue, where the ramifications of tonight's actions and those that have come before will finally be settled. Thank you all.
Alright, thank you for the session, guys. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks all.
So,
See